You know, many, many years ago, I worked for a doctor, an internist in Milwaukee, who was the specialist in the area on diabetes. And of course, I knew how to do a blood sugar and all this sort of thing and how people were supposed to watch their diet. But it wasn't until over 30 years later, and I heard Dr. Nasr speak about diabetes and hypoglycemia and all that, that I understood the intricacies of the disease. Now, tonight, you are probably going to get a variation of that same lecture that I got. And when you leave here tonight, you're going to be awed that somebody as brilliant as he is can make a complex subject sound so simple. And you're going to have an understanding that you just never had before. Dr. Nasr is not only an internist, he is a cardiologist. He has certainly saved my life, as I know he has some of the other people here. And, you know, they say we're very lucky if during our lifetime we meet 5 very special people. And he is certainly one of the very special people in my life. So, I'd like to introduce Dr. Mohamed.
Thank you very much. Well, first of all, this thing fell off. And where did you put it? What ventricle it was in? Right here. Okay, and this will go right here. Okay. That's almost as important as Clinton. They always like microphones. I will talk tonight. I think we have about 20, 30 people. How many new people again right here we have? Yeah, it's about 20, 30 people. You are very important, but the lecture will continuation to previous lectures, so we're not gonna we don't have time to go over anything from the past. We're just gonna start right away on diabetes, hypoglycemia, and alcoholism, or alcohol, because the time element. I was driving right here, and I didn't drive right here. Actually, one of our Shackley distributors, one of my patients, she gave me a ride from the clinic right here, so I thought maybe I have time to prepare it. I didn't have any chance to prepare it, so I'm just going to go ahead and do the best I can. Basically, the idea of the lecture of diabetes or hypoglycemia or alcohol, the subject that Joyce selects, and she called me and she threw about 5, 6 subjects to which one we should talk about, and we discussed it for several minutes or days or weeks, and then we decided this is the topic I see the most of. This is how the decision made about what topic I speak about. It's what I hear the most about. It's what I get the most complaint about. This. Because the lack of time, I don't have much time, we start combining diabetes and hypoglycemia and alcohol in one lecture rather than used to be each one had its own lecture. So I'm going to depend a lot on your knowledge and previous lectures to follow me right away through the subject, because lots of you know people who have diabetes, and lots of you know people who have hypoglycemia, and lots of you know people who drink alcohol. So I said drink alcohol. I didn't say alcoholism. I said if you have even one drink, it's still alcoholism. Any drug or a chemical you enter the body, it will cause damage, regardless if it's small. If you smoke 1 cigarette, you still smoke cigarette. If you take one little bit of cocaine, you still took cocaine. You know, there's no poison called level. Like the policeman stops people on the highway and say his level is below 100, he's okay. You know, who decides that for less than 100 is okay, over 100 is not okay? We say, no, any chemical that enters the body is not okay. Like when they give us numbers in the lab say normal poison level of lead is this, arsenic is this, this is. I always laugh. I said, what's normal about that? You know, what is the normal about this thing? Our knowledge is so limited in nutrition that we always wait until we suffer before we do something about things. And for the last 26 years, and I have been in this country, I have been working voluntarily without pay in many instances to give lectures in many places, from school to churches to on radio, TV. Anybody invite me to speak about how to improve the general health, I do it. If I have the time, I do it. The reason I do it mostly in Milwaukee, right here in Chicago, because it's only 1 hour or 45 minutes from my office. It depends how fast I drive. However, when I start getting invitation to go to Green Bay or to Iowa, it becomes burden to go for 3 hours, 4 hours. Then you drive 4 hours. Then you have patients to worry about. Then your beaver is out of range. Then you have to have another doctor. Then your patient dies if you have another doctor. So, so this is why this series of lecture right here is really the only series going on in the country that is complete scientific information and nutrition. If you take the information that's in the video and just replay in the slow and study every aspect of it, you will learn a lot. If you go back to the previous lectures that they have a list of it in the front right here, we have given last year about the chronic fatigue syndrome, about the immune system, about the role of fibromyalgia. If you go to those lectures, I don't know if you remember those anymore anyway, if you do remember those, go back to those lectures and study how much you can learn about yourself from those states. There is another aspect right here. It's only very few people can save the world. The majority of the world don't care. Only 0.1% of the population in the United States take vitamins. The rest of them, 0.1%, is not 1%, 0.1%. So when you think because you're taking vitamins and taking good care of yourself, the whole population is doing the same, you're absolutely wrong. The majority of the population, they'll be lucky if they take 1 pill of vitamin a year. Okay, because the physicians and doctors told them they just don't need it. They don't need that. That is our problem. So only few people can go ahead and spread the message of nutrition to save other people. And this is what we're trying to do today about diabetes and hypoglycemia and alcohol. How many people here in this room have symptoms or have diabetes or know somebody who have diabetes? Okay. A large number. How many people know somebody or have hypoglycemia? Of course, you be the same number almost. And then the alcohol will be 100%. You don't need to raise it. How many people know somebody who drink alcohol? It's going to be 100%. I wanted to combine diabetes and hypoglycemia and alcohol under one subject because the main purpose of all of this is to study energy. This is the problem. The problem is lack of energy. The reason we have diabetes is the problem has to do with energy problems. The reason we have low blood sugar or hypoglycemia is an energy-related problem. The reason alcohol is drank is mostly energy-related problem. I'm not talking about the habitual drinking. I'm talking about the chronic drinking. If you study the human body, Is this thing on focus? Okay. If you study the human body, you find the human body is built from organs. This is the only thing I repeat each lecture. The bone structure right here, that is made from many cells that needs energy so it can manufacture red blood cells and white blood cells and lymphatic cells and immune cells to fight cancer and give us energy. Another organ, right here, the skin, also made of cells. It requires energy to prevent itself from developing cancer or aging. It needs energy to fight aging. It needs energy to stay sick and healthy with collagen built in it. And the more blood goes through it, the healthier it is. We know that. Right? You agree with me on that. Other organs, one some people don't have right here, and this is being repeated 20 years right now, but just to start people to smile a little bit, because you get these people looking like this and just staring in my face, so I want them to cheer up. So these cells right here, the brain have functions which one part thinks, one part balances, one part keep memory, one part for vision, and all these functions, it requires energy. The heart has to pump blood to all these organs, also require energy to do that. Where does the energy come from? The source of energy, if we take any of these organs right here, they need something to go inside to create energy. That's something called sugar or fat. 99% of energy comes from sugar, 1% comes from fat. Because it is harder to burn fat. For the body, it's easier to burn sugar. And this is why 99% is easier to have something sweet, to have energy, than eat a steak with butter to get energy, because it takes long time to get energy out of those. This kind of process, it has to go through the metabolic state. First of all, the food has to come from outside through your mouth. And then inside the mouth right here, the digestive system starts working, the salivary gland, and the food gets chewed in the mouth. Then it goes down to the esophagus, where it gets also more digestion. Then it passes by the pancreas, and it gets more digestion. This digestive process is intended to slow down the energy production. Are you following me so far? Because you need energy every second. You need more energy from 7 in the morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You need less energy from 4 o'clock in the afternoon to 7 o'clock in the morning. However, even at night when you sleep, you still need energy. The heart has to work, I hope. The brain has to work to think about some problems you had all day from the kids and everybody else, how to solve it. And then, you know, the body has to solve its problem at night when you sleep. And if it doesn't solve its problems at night, that night, specific night, then the problem accumulates for the second night. And you wake up with the problem from yesterday has not been solved. And then it adds up, it adds up, it adds up until it leads to depression and psychosis and all kinds of mental problems. So we're saying the energy is the most important thing every organ needs. The brain needs it, the liver needs it, the heart needs it, the muscle needs it, and all of these places needs it. But the most important source of energy is called carbohydrates. Everybody here heard about carbohydrates, right? Carbohydrates are the starches. The complex carbohydrate is called starches. The complex called starch. And the simple called what? Sugar. They both carbohydrates. The idea, remember, the whole idea is the food has to enter from this step to this one, to this one, to enter, to go to the heart, and the heart pump to the cell that we talked about before. So the energy has to reach to the cell. The sugar has to reach to the cell. Forget about fat. Fat is not a good source of energy. Unless you live in Alaska, when the temperature falls all the time below zero, you have to have lots of fat because you need the layer of fat to protect you from outside. But I'm sure in this weather right here, we don't need this layers of fat. So the complex carbohydrate, it needs to be broken down to simple carbohydrates. First of all, the piece of bread, if you take a piece of bread or rice or macaroni or spaghetti or potatoes, these are the best sources of energy, complex carbohydrates, and you put it under big electronic microscope, you find out that the piece, the little bite you have taken of bread or rice is made of units connected to each other of what? What are these units called? These called sugars. This called glucose. The number of those depends what type of carbohydrates. And in general number, just to make it simple, it's about 160,000. 160,000 connected to each other, and they have to be released inside the blood. Right here is the blood. Are you following me? These are the bowel right here, the gut. This here is the blood. To enter here to the blood, the holes in the bowel are so small, they only allow a little sugar to go through. How do we know that? Because when we analyze blood, we never see corn or starches or pieces of bread or rice or macaroni in it. We just see clear blood. So it must be something is filtering this blood. This is how we figured it out. And it did because when it goes here, the enzymes of the digestive system right here start working, and they break down the 160,000 to about 30,000 or 20,000 pieces. Each one is 20,000. The 20,000 right here, they come down. When they arrive down, here comes the complex problem from previous lecture. Inside the stomach right here, there is a little chair with a guy sits on it. It has two hands and he has a binocular looking up to all the stuff you eat. And he's looking up and he sees a piece of bread coming. He smiles, because if he said bacon or rice, then he doesn't smile. He smiles and he has a little cellular phone. In the previous lecture, we said regular phone was wires. Nowadays, we say you have a cellular phone. Okay. He has a phone. He notifies the brain. He tells the brain, this guy just ate a piece of bread, or a bite of potatoes, or some macaroni, some chips, or some beans with carbohydrate in it. Everything in the human body is done by messages. Don't think the human body is built by God haphazard. It's so well organized that everything follows specific pattern. It does not violate that pattern at all from Adam until today. We are very well built people. We are sick because we're making ourselves sick. But we are not built sick. Like somebody come to me and say, what are you going to do about my problem? You know, I said, what did Adam and Eve have when they had this problem? They didn't have no doctors. So what you're trying to say, I am trying to tell you you don't need a doctor. What I'm here for. I said you need good nutrition, good exercise. If you run in front of the dinosaur like Adam did, or 50 miles an hour, you have a good circulation system. You know, and you're not going to have a problem. But the problem, when you sit in front of the TV, come home and step right away, just dump, and you see a hole in the couch and the chair, you know, that matches the anatomy of the person, and then the TV is there. I do the same thing. You're not the only one. I try not to do it. But, you know, I really wanted one time to get something. I hit the TV with it to break the screen. Sometimes I get so mad. And by TV, I watch maybe 3 minutes a day. Some news about O.J. Simpson. Is he dead yet? Or is he guilty yet? Or something like that. Or some news, somebody kidnapped somebody or killed somebody someplace. And I like to listen to some good news. There is God there, or some good things happen in the world, but you didn't hear that. You shut the TV and you go back to bed or read. So we became, I told the person, we even became so lazy that just to turn the TV off, why should we walk 6 feet? You might have a heart attack. You don't want to take a chance, you know. No. And then somebody said you have to do this to turn the lights off. This is really dumb, you know. When you want to go to sleep, why you have to wake yourself up? Okay. And then if you want to mix an egg or something, you have to get a machine. Everything is done for us. So actually, previously, in the days of Adam, the reason I use the example of the older generation, the days of Abraham, the Ishmael and Isaac and all these people, the Pharaohs and all of them, they didn't have physicians and hospitals and all of these things, but they survived. And they survived because it takes them maybe 16 hours of work a day to generate enough food for the energy of the day. Are you following me? Maybe he has to work 16 hours. Maybe I'm exaggerating, maybe more or less, but you got the idea. You have to work so hard, climb here and do this and cut and drag and do all that, just for a little bit of honey from the bees in the top of the trees in the rainforest or something. You know, the guy climbs all the trees all the way up, and the whole family just to go there's a honeycomb, and he gets to that piece and climbs down with it and shares with everybody, and then he goes home and he's satisfied with that. What happened to him? He burned his energy, and he got new energy. When he burned his energy, he burned toxins and poisons with it. Because when you're burning energy is stored in sugar, that's true. But excess energy is stored in what? In fat. And fat loves chemicals, right? Most of chemicals, they love to be stored in fat. Gasoline, benzene, diesel, oil, all of these are the things that like to get poison in them. Because most of the poison are fat soluble. So, by burning the fat, he releases the chemicals stored that can cause cancer. In return, he's healthier. So no wonder we go to these places, we don't see diabetes. We don't see alcohol. We don't see hypoglycemia. We don't see cancer. We see, it's true, we see infections. We see malnutrition. Sometimes they don't have, and most of malnutrition in those countries caused by few crooks leaders preventing the poor people from planting their food anyway. You know, it's not they're poor, they're not poor. The Somalis, you heard about Ethiopia and Somalia, people, they die by the millions. You see those kids. The soil of the Nile is so fertile in Africa. Africa is so fertile. But these are beautiful people. Well, why are they dying? Because there are probably few leaders in the top, but they slaving everybody else underneath them, and that's why. But if you take somebody from there who is so sick looking and give him some food and vitamins, they become perfectly healthy. When you take one of us and we have problem with diabetes, and problem with alcoholism, problem with hypoglycemia, how much work it takes to cure that problem? A lot of work and maybe never, right or wrong? So that our diseases is becoming more of serious diseases, not just little hypoglycemia. There's a lot of diseases go with each other too. So energy, we have to work harder to produce energy. And nowadays, with $4 minimum wage, $4 is enough to give energy to supply you for a whole week. If you take $4 and buy potatoes with it, you can feed yourself a whole week with $4 of potatoes, correct or not? So even a minimum wage is dangerous for us. Because we got too much. We got too much money. We got too much laziness. We get into much disease. And we are like any civilization in the past. Go up, goes down. Go up, goes down. And we try to go up, stay up. So we're trying to say, okay, we can stay up if we clean our acts. We can stay up if we clean our acts and we eat better, clean the environment, stay closer to God, and this and this and this. We can stay there. But we are losing the battle. Because 0.1% of the people care about nutrition and care about getting better. They want a drug. The first thing a patient comes to me wants a medication. I came to you twice already, and I still have the problem. And I said, did you take your vitamins? I don't want to start on the vitamins yet. It upsets my stomach. When I give him vitamins, here's your shot of vitamins taken, then all the problems he had all his life caused by the few vitamins I gave him. All of a sudden, I said, you don't know what happened. I almost went to the hospital. What happened? Oh, I got gas, I got stomach pain, I got this, I got headache, I got that. And then because somebody told him, his doctor or his friend, you're going to have problems if you take this vitamin. That's all in the back of the head. So what I tell these people, I tell you what, you find yourself another doctor because I don't want you back. Every single day, at least 2 or 3 patients call me. They don't want to follow what I say. I tell them, I really love you. Call me anytime you want, but I don't want to see you again. Today, I just said that to a patient that I was sure 99.9% today that I'm going to cure that person. I was sure in my heart, 99%. If that person listened with simple instructions, which was vitamin exercise and taking that person off the serious drugs that she was taking, slowly, I was sure 99% she's going to be fine. Then she came back so upset that the vitamin gave her gas and she had pain and this and this. And I said, okay, don't worry about it. Don't take it. Don't do anything. Go back to your doctor. And then if you're still alive after so many years, you can call me. So I give her the last news before she leaves that she's not going to get better. Okay. So how does the carbohydrate get inside the blood? First, it has to be digested right here to 20,000 units. And this guy here called the brain to tell him, we have a piece of bread or potato coming. Then the brain calls the pancreas right here. Let's use another pen. We need to call the pancreas. What does the pancreas do? What does the pancreas do to us? What does it make? It makes something called enzymes. What you're talking about insulin for. We're not there yet. We are in the stomach. It tells them we have carbohydrate coming, starches. The little holes I got, it doesn't let those things go through. We need enzymes, and the enzymes, they come out like this, like a little Pac-Man like that in the old days, and they grab and they eat this thing, and they go like this, and the carbohydrate get digested and get digested like that, and then it goes in the blood. Now we have in the blood, what do we have? We have sugar. It's already digested. How long it took from step 1 to step 3? It took about 3 hours to do that. 3 hours from the moment you eat a sandwich, a piece of bread, or potato, until you get it in the blood. It takes about 3 hours. To get to the cell, it's fast. It doesn't take that much time. The blood travels in a very high speed, and it will get there. But we have to travel with it to see what's going to go on. This blood has to go first through the liver to do what? What does the liver do? Exactly. It does filter the what? Filter what? The impurities or chemical that's coming with the food. It could be a little beer with the meal. It could be a glass of wine with the meal. It gets filtered. It could be a Coke with the meal. It gets filtered out. It could be anything comes with the meal. It gets removed before it goes to where? To the heart. We're in stomach, blood, liver. We're going to the heart. We're going up toward the heart, so it can be pumped and sent to where? To the cells. The moment it enters the blood, in this area right here of the intestine, and here is a piece of bowels right here, intestine, with the little holes in it for the sugar to go through. Are you following me so far, right? The moment this sugar entered and went in the bloodstream right here, inside the bloodstream here, there's a guy sitting here, sits right here. He really doesn't sit in the stomach, but I try to make it simple, actually in the neck, not in the stomach, but I'm going to put it in the stomach right here, right now. And he has a very long tongue, like this. And he tastes the blood to see how much sugar is passing through. You follow me now? Because he only likes to see approximately 100 to 150 milligrams of sugar going through. He does not like sugar to go higher than that. He likes that number. If he says that number is exceeding that, he himself have a phone. And he calls back to the stomach to tell the guy at the stomach, shut the system, don't digest any food anymore, and give a message to the tongue to tell that person your taste for sweet is dead. You have too much sugar. You don't have any taste anymore. You have no craving for it. You don't see a diabetic with high blood sugar have a craving for sugar. Right or wrong? Unless you are hypoglycemic. I'm talking, if your blood sugar is high, would you have craving for sugar? No, you can't. It's against the physiology of the body. You hate sugar that moment. Your body is telling you that. That's if you have a healthy body and the neurological system is working right. So, he tells him that if he finds the sugar is too low coming in, he calls this guy right here to tell him, call the brain, tell the tongue, we need more sugar. Then the person have craving for sugar. So the craving for sugar right here is the alarm that tells you you need or you don't need. It depends on the taste. So when you have a craving for sugar, eat sugar. Because if you don't, you're going to be in trouble. If you don't have a craving for sugar, do not eat sugar. Because you're going to hurt yourself. Are you following me or no? So if your craving is a true craving, it's a true disease, through problems. We're going to learn how to solve it later on through nutrition. But for the moment, if you don't listen, the sugar in the blood is going to fall low, the brain cannot function. So you have to have sugar. You understand that or not? So now we clarify the myth that we all have, that if you see somebody putting some white sugar in a tea or coffee, you immediately look at them and say, oh my God, you're going to kill yourself. No, actually not. Maybe he is saving himself by putting some honey or sugar in his tea or coffee or tea or something. Maybe if they're eating the cake, dessert, they're saving a problem. There is a craving for that. If it is not a social event that you got to have the dinner and you have to have the dessert. No, that is a different story. You have to have the dinner and you have to have the alcohol. That's a different event. We're not talking about social life. We're talking about physiological life. That's what you need, what you don't need. Now, when the sugar enters the blood, it travels to the liver, and the liver filters it. And during the moment, this guy right here senses the sugar is coming, he ordered the pancreas to release a hormone called insulin. Now, we have a picture of the bowel right here, and this is the blood with the sugar in it. Move it toward the heart. Before it gets to the heart, it has with it hormone called what? Insulin. This is not the only thing that happens. The second thing happens when it senses the sugar coming in. There is more complex problem here. It notifies the mother gland in the brain, the pituitary gland, to tell the pituitary gland there is energy coming. There is energy coming to your body. Find out what problems that person has and direct the energy toward that location. Are you following me or not? There is energy coming. I want you to direct that energy toward suppose you're having cancer in the liver, God forbid. Or suppose you have arthritis in the joint. Then immediately most of the energy is directed toward the area where the problem gonna need to be for the most. You follow me? So the pituitary gland sends a message to the thyroid. And the thyroid gland has to secrete thyroid hormones when you eat carbohydrates. Then we have another hormone here, different color, right here, called thyroid hormone with the sugar. Then it sends another message, running out of colors here, sends another message. Where's the kidney? The kidney is in the back right here. The kidney is above the kidney right here, there is a gland. It's called the what? The adrenal gland. And let us dry this before we switch it over. And inside that gland has to secrete several hormones. For the sugar take, has to secrete steroids. The steroid you hit, a bad steroid you hit, has to be, we make our own steroids. Thyroid, insulin will help to put the sugar inside the cell. Thyroid is going to help the cell to burn the sugar. Steroid is going to stimulate the circulation to the area of trouble. Whatever problem is going to go to it and allow, like if you have a bee sting, the steroids come in and they fight and they make the swelling go away. That's why we put hydrocortisone cream on it because the steroid to get rid of the swelling. So the steroids come with the battle to solve a problem, maybe a cancer in the breast. Then the steroid taker go there and then attract more blood, come with me, and then all of a sudden, all the white blood cells, they eat the stuff away, and he said, okay, let's go home, all of us. The problem is over. So the steroid has to come out from the adrenal gland. Adrenal gland has to secrete also hormone called adrenaline. Because when you eat, you need to feel good. You need to have good circulation. So you can't just eat and the stomach is full and go to sleep. That food has to be digested. So adrenaline stimulates to the body. Also, that's when you need energy, you need the adrenaline. Another hormone called aldosterone hormone to keep the blood pressure up. When the sugar is coming, we need a higher blood pressure. So the pressure pumps to the brain, and the circulation improves when you are trying to get energy. The circulation should be better during that moment also. Another message goes to the other organs, like the ovaries and the testicles, to tell it, don't forget your share of energy also. Because they also, the organs, it has the highest need for sugar in the body. Which organ in the body needs the high sugar? The brain. The second highest organ in the body needs sugar, the ovaries and the testicles. They are going on all the time. The testicles number one, because the temperature of the testicle, it is not hanging out of the body in man, it can reach in 1 hour 1,000 degrees. In 1 hour, it can reach 1,000 degrees. This is why when we have baby boys deliver, the first thing we look for is the testicle descended or not. Did it come down or not? If it did not, we immediately call the surgeon, we open, and we take it out. Yeah, I'm not out. We just get it in the air. Because it only takes 5 minutes or 10 minutes. If it doesn't come out, that is cooked. Because when the baby is born, it's making sperm. In the same second it's born, it's making sperm. So it gets better with age, but that is what happens. So all hormones get involved in the production of energy. For this to enter the cell, for this energy to enter the cell then, the sugar to enter the cell and produce energy, the insulin has to push it in. And if you don't have enough insulin, what will happen to the cell? If you don't have enough insulin, what happens? Would the sugar go in or not? Okay, we have two problems. Is the sugar inside the cell high or low? This moment. So is the sugar outside high or low? High. So outside we have diabetes. Inside we have hypoglycemia. And the person who's diabetic, he keeps wanting to eat sugar in the beginning of the disease because he thinks he needs more sugar because the cell itself is depleted from sugar until he gets so diseased that he does not have that taste that much anymore. What happens when the sugar goes up in the blood? When the sugar goes up in the blood, for you to understand, if we're looking at the brain, this is a brain right here. It's made of millions of what? Nerve cells. And if we look at the heart, it's made of millions of cells. Between the cells exists fluid called the blood. Carries what? The protein, the carbohydrate, the sugar, the vitamins, the minerals, all the stuff carries in. Between the cell outside and inside, it has to be a balance form. Something we call osmolarity or osmosis. Have you heard about osmolarity? Have you heard about the balance, the concentration of solids in the liquid? Inside and outside, it has to be equal. It doesn't matter what kind. It has to be equal. They have to be balancing each other. When the sugar is too high here in the blood in diabetes, the concentration is what? Increases, right? The current goes up. When the concentration increases right here, is that dangerous to the cell or not? What would do to the cell? Just to think about it for a second, what? Exactly. It pulls the water from inside out. It's just like you taking any fruits or anything, put some sugar in it. You find the sugar pulls the water out of things to itself. If the cell loses water, what happens to it? Dehydrates and dies. Dehydration is dangerous. So 10% of dehydration is called first-degree dehydration, that you get thirsty. When you get to 20% of dehydration, second degree, that you start getting dizzy and lightheaded and passing out. When you get 30% dehydration, then when you go in a coma and die, heat stroke or whatever, that's what, especially babies, if they don't get enough fluid, they just die right away. Or animals or birds or any of these little species. So the first danger of having high sugar is what? Dehydration. Second danger of having sugar is low blood sugar inside the cell. Third thing about having high blood sugar is what? The sugar is very dangerous now, right? Is sugar dangerous or not? It can be dangerous. What happens if I give you some fruit, I want you to preserve it for me for 1,000 years, so no bacteria can eat it? What do you do with it? You add sugar to it, or salt, right? That's how we make jam. We add the sugar, nothing spoils, because the sugar kills everything. The concentration of the sugar is what kills, not the sugar itself that it kills. So there is the sugar itself, because it's so dangerous. Immediately, this guy right here, when he senses the sugar is going up and up and up, and that his tongue is getting sore from all the sugar around it, he calls his friend the kidney. And he tells the kidney what? Open the door and please get the sugar out. So the person who has high sugar urinates a lot. Why does he urinate a lot? He's getting rid of the sugar. So one of the first signs of diabetes is too much urine. The urine is too much all the time. That's one sign of diabetes. Second sign of diabetes, dehydration. Third, fatigue. No hypoglycemia inside the cells means what? Means low energy or fatigue. But the kidney only can secrete up to 180 milligrams of sugar. If it exceeds that amount, kidney cannot handle it. Then the sugar rises in the blood to 240, which is high, right or wrong? When it reaches that, we are reaching the 10%, from 10 to 15% dehydration stage now. That person can concentrate, dizzy, lightheaded, drinks lots of water, urinates a lot, can concentrate, fatigue, wants to sleep. That is that person who have high sugar. And if you go to the doctor and get a blood test of fasting blood sugar, remember the word fasting blood sugar means you don't eat all night, and you get the blood sugar, you find it to be 80. Normal. But the moment you ate the sugar, it went to 240. You follow me or no? So fasting blood sugar is the wrong test to do. You should not fast for a blood test. Because we do not live fasting. If I want to check to see how much cholesterol you have in your body to help your circulation, I better know when you're eating, not when you're fasting. Why should I fool myself? I don't have to fool my patient. I say, okay, eat your normal meal. Let us do the blood and see what we're seeing. We see lots of sugar. Then we say, be careful with sugar. We see lots of fat. We say, be careful with fat. We see lots of salt. We say, be careful with salt. But if we tell the person fast, then everything looks nice and the patient dies. Do you know that 90% of the people, their blood test is absolutely normal 5 minutes before they die? That's scary, isn't it? That scares you, right? If I tell you that if you ask your physician, what's the blood test of, or anybody, what's the blood test show 5 minutes before people die? Normal. You cannot depend on a blood test. You have to depend on your feelings. You have to depend how you feel about yourself. The alarm inside you that tells you something is wrong, listen to it. And if you don't listen to it, you fool yourself. And if you go to a doctor and he tells you the alarm is false, the doctor is false. Because if you have a headache and he say, no, it's the stress, that's a false. What he's saying is wrong. If you have, you're urinating a lot and you're drinking lots of water and he said, oh, you're fine, just go home without checking for sugar, he is wrong. So the sugar goes out from the kidney, but now it's 240. It's getting dangerous now. The person who likes to eat sugar, sugar and carbohydrates, he continues to do the same because he doesn't know what's going on in his body. Then his sugar reaches 300, 400, 700 without him noticing serious problems. From 200 to 500 in this area here, he can go on for 2-3 years. The sugar is 200 to 500 all the time. And he drink water, go to the bathroom, drink water, go to the bathroom every day, all the time, and he's just going on, and he's slowing down gradually. There is something else dangerous happening right here. The excess sugar from 200 to 500 does not stay in the blood as sugar. It does not. It converts all of it to alcohol. Most of the sugar goes from above 200 converts to alcohol called sorbitol, similar to ethanol. Sorbitol is a kind of alcohol. Alcohol is dangerous to the body too. The body elected to produce a poison called sorbitol, alcohol, rather than have natural what? Sugar. See, amazing thing happened right here. Produces own poison just to get rid of a natural substance called sugar. Why? Because the body does not want to get to the 3rd degree dehydration. That's a coma stage. So it does anything, even produce alcohol. The alcohol travels in the blood. Alcohol is poison, correct? We use alcohol on the skin to kill germs. So alcohol is a poison. We use it to numb the skin. We use it to put people under anesthesia in the older days. Alcohol gets people drunk. Alcohol itself is a poison. So when you have that much alcohol traveling inside the body, what will happen? The alcohol starts going to the brain and causing incoordination and memory problems. It starts going to the heart and cause the heart to swell up. It's called cardiomyopathy, congestive heart failure. It starts going to the liver and cause cirrhosis from within, not from out. It starts going to the nerves of the legs and cause numbness and tingling and poor feeling. You don't feel that much anymore. Right? If you have no diabetes, it does all of that. So what caused this problem? All of this problem the diabetic patient has. What caused it? What caused it is too much sugar without insulin or without steroids or without thyroid or without adrenaline or without other hormones. So if you're thinking you have diabetes and the insulin is the answer alone, you're absolutely wrong. Insulin is just one factor. Because if you are that kind of a dreamer, then let me take you to inside the cell itself and show you that's not what happened. Here is the cell, and here's the sugar, and here comes the insulin, push the sugar inside the cell. Sugar right here. Fine. The sugar inside the cell. Sugar coming in. The cell inside the cell become hyperglycemic. Right or wrong? Too much sugar going in. Let's say you took extra dose of insulin. The sugar outside is going what? The sugar inside went up. So having too much sugar inside, it does what? You said the answer before. It pulls the fluid where? To the inside of the cell. Now, this is not dehydration. That's edema. That's a swelling. That's water retention now. We're dealing with another stage. Then we go inside the body and see what happens. Swelling in the brain, right? The cells are swelling because too much insulin and you're not burning the sugar inside. Then the brain have coma, diabetic coma, insulin coma, that's what we call it. The brain swells and explodes. And a person can die within 1 hour if that happens. Actually, I seen it in the hospital one time. One time I was in the hospital. In every hospital I worked in, because I finished my PhD and degrees before I was a doctor, I was the oldest medical student in my class always. So to prove yourself you are better than them, you have to study harder and work harder. So in any way, in every hospital, I was trying to get involved in every code blue, code anything. In any emergency, I was the first one to reach to take care of that patient. This time, I arrived too late. I had a code, intensive care unit. I was the chief cardiologist in the hospital. And then I arrived, but already the code, you know what the code means. Somebody is dying. And I arrived, and there is a protocol you follow. You know, we all learned in the hospital, nobody goes over the other. It goes in stages. So the only thing you can do if you are a good doctor or if you want to help, you stand behind, you take the chart, and start read the history of that patient when they're working on that patient. Then I start reading, and then I noticed that patient got a dose of insulin 1 hour ago, 40 units, and I asked the doctor, I told him, your patient got insulin. He said, yeah, we give him MPH. I told him, how do you know? I want to see the syringe. I told the nurse, show me where you get it from. It was regular insulin. But that time he was so stubborn to listen that to give a bolus of sugar to that patient, he said, no, I know what I'm doing, please get out. And he had the right to say that. He had the right to kick me out. I left out. Even, you can't. He is in control of his patient, but I have steps to take after that. So the patient died from wrong insulin. Then we go to the staff meeting, and you know the staff meeting, the board meeting, they all drink with each other in the club. But I don't drink alcohol for two reasons. Nutrition, and I'm a Muslim, we don't drink alcohol. So I don't socialize for that reason. We don't dance, we don't drink alcohol, we don't eat pork. We don't like that kind of, we like to meditate with our friends, the Christians and all of that. We like to have a good time with them, but we don't like that kind of social life. So we're always around the type of people who believe like us. Like they go to church, we believe. We go with them, have dinner together and talk or something. Yeah, that's fine. So when I sat in the meeting, I raised the issue, the complaint. I said, I have a complaint against Dr. So-and-so. And he's the head of his department. And I would like the nurse, the head nurse, I told her, to pass the chart. I made 40 copies to pass to everyone in the meeting to read first. Everyone starts reading. I said, the issue here is that the patient received wrong insulin, and I raised a question to him to stop and give the bolus of insulin, and he refused. So he killed the patient. You know, in medical meetings, there is nobody goes to jail, nobody gets prosecuted. Everything gets under the table right away. So the first thing they do, they realize at the hospital, they start erasing, writing notes right away immediately. Everything starts removed and nothing stays. And that's the truth, because God's going to ask us one day, did you tell the truth, what you saw to the public or not? And that is the truth. So what happened here, many cases like that, through life, many cases, seeing people dying, many cases, malnutrition, diabetes, this and this and this, and everything under the table. You get warnings even. If you don't be quiet, we'll kick you out. So in any way, it's a club. And it has to protect itself. It has the money, because the most powerful thing, money, anything related to health, is powerful. Because people will sell their kids in the world to get better. People do anything to feel better. So that's why medicine is being commercialized the way it is. So diabetic coma is not from too much sugar outside. It's not hypoglycemia. It's also the cerebral edema that the patient suffers from. When the heart swells, we call that cardiomyopathy. Have you heard about cardiomyopathy? Enlarged heart, failing heart. Anybody here in this room, tell me, what is the treatment for cardiomyopathy? What is the treatment for it? Have we any treatment for cardiomyopathy so far successful? Answer is no. The only answer available is heart implant. You put a new heart, and that also doesn't work. But nutritionally, 99% of the patients I had with cardiomyopathy, they improved with vitamins. Because if they paid attention, what caused the heart to swell and the brain to swell in diabetic patient right here inside the cell was the lack of vitamin B1. That was the problem in the heart. So we come into the vitamin role later on, what vitamins and all of that. I don't want to confuse you by one single vitamin, and you go home and start buying about $50 of vitamin B1. Don't do that. The problem with diabetes here is what? This is the enemy right here. Sugar. So we say to the diabetic patient, control your sugar with diet, with exercise, with medicine, with hormones, you live as long as everybody else. There's no problem whatsoever. There's no such thing called diabetes going to kill a person if that person is controlling his sugar. The sugar is the problem. Juvenile diabetics, why they get in trouble? Sugar problem. They don't listen. They don't know how to. Thank God we have better methods, better insulins right now, better systems right now than you used to before. So when we talk about diabetes or hypoglycemia, they both very similar diseases. Diabetes causes problems of, like I mentioned, hypoglycemia causes the lack of energy. That's the main symptom of high low blood sugar. And craving for what? Sweet. And fatigue. But if you are the doctor and I'm a patient and I have a low blood sugar, then tell me what symptoms should I have if I tell you each organ. My eyes, would I have problem with it if I don't have enough sugar? Would hypoglycemia affect the vision? Of course, you have to say yes, otherwise you need lecithin. Now, the second one after that, okay, if I don't have enough sugar, can I think clearly? No, you can't. You need sugar to think clearly. Can you get dizzy? Just take each section right now. I'm going through the anatomy of the body. Your heart, could it get in trouble, palpitation, or weakness when you have low blood sugar or not? It's good. And the whole body have a lack of energy, and the temperature is low, the circulation is low, the person is cold, and so on, so on, so on. So hypoglycemia is not a disease. And diabetes is not a disease. Diabetes itself is a Latin word, means sweet urine. Because the first doctor who detected it, when people used to come to him complaining of not feeling well, urinating a lot, he decided the first thing to do, the only thing to do, to take the urine and smell it and taste it. That's in about 1870. And he found a sweet urine. Then he called it diabetes mellitus. Mellitus means honey. Mellitus in Latin means honey, means sweet, something sweet. So that is not a disease. What causes the disease is what? Lack of insulin and eating too much sugar. Correct? Or is not correct? Let us study our life. Since we're children in this country, I came here at older age, but last day I was born here. In my life in Egypt, ancient, our village been there for 7,000, 10,000 years. Same people for thousands of years, the same food, the same place. We don't even go to the city next door for that thing. So we have our own food. Sugar is not part of the diet at all. Fruits sometimes, honey sometimes, but most of the time salt and bread and lamb or something occasionally, or fish occasionally, for thousands of years. So everybody grown not to have any sweet taste. Like when I come from school, my mother has 6 boys. When we come from school, and we are hungry. There's no refrigerator in the house. The stove is one of those adobe ovens, it's only fired once every week for baking bread or something. Then when we're hungry, she's going to cook for dinner. So she said, oh, go to the garden and find yourself something. Then you go to the garden and you look at all the weeds we grow in the garden for ourselves. You go through each one and then see which one you like the best. Some radish, some this, some that, some this, some dandelion, some that. And you select a group and sit and wash them and eat them, and that's your lunch. You go and study. When you raise like this, you like that kind of life. That is, it is so weird when me and my brother, we all get together. Their wife is from Cairo, where they eat sweets all the time, just like Europe. We from the village is better than them because we don't have anything to do with them. We eat everything natural, everything fresh, natural. So when you get in the marriage problem, you find wife cooks everything sweet, but the husband wants everything fresh. So we and my brother, we get together. We have two parts of the table. One part we all sit together, and we have a big pile of lettuce and radishes and tomatoes and everything. Just a big, huge thing. We eat one after the other, cucumber, and we talking, and the other eating the sweets and desserts. And believe me, we're not suffering. We actually enjoying it. So that is why you have to teach the kids from young age, when they are babies, not to give them sweets. My daughter had a baby. I advised her, and she believed me very much in whatever I tell her in nutrition. Everything I did, since even helped her to find a husband, I was involved in that. She asked me, evaluate that boy and this boy and this boy, and did it for her. And even everything I was involved, just let her make the decision, but just far away. And then when she got pregnant, I said, okay, this is your vitamin, this is your exercise, this is the plan, this is what you should do. And she followed, and I'm here, and she's going to find this. Even when she's delivering the baby, I was on the phone during delivery. And then I was talking to her. I said, how are you feeling now? First contraction, second contraction, third contraction. She's on the phone with me. And I said, what are you crying for? She said, I have in pain. I said, give me the doctor. Then I told him why she's in pain. She said, well, she has labor pain. I said, there's no such thing called pain. Give her this medicine. And he gave her certain medicine, the cervix, and the pain all gone. And she was having a sandwich where the baby was coming out. And that's how much trust, because pain, there's no reason for pain. Pain is useless thing to accept. The thing is saying like, I like to have pain, you're wrong. Nobody likes pain. It's correct. And that's not, underestimate pain. How much a person have with pain, stomach or headache or arthritis, they're underestimating how much the pain is damaging that person's life. So, in the teaching I said, I advise you, besides breast milk, you have to feed her for 2 years, maximum, or if you can, and that's what our book, the Quran, said, feed the baby for 2 years if you can. And I told her, teach her to eat vegetables, peas and beans and all the yucky stuff, carrots and all this. When she came to visit last month, that's all she feeding her in front of me. Beans and peas, and the girl loves it. When I tried to, my brother, wife, she likes sweets, said, you make her suffer. Give her some sugar, give her some cake, you know? And she put the cake in her mouth, she spit it out. And she wants beans and stuff. So you teach yourself, your kids from young, to dislike sugar as a source of energy, or fruit as a source of energy. Complex carbohydrates, please. If you don't buy it, it's not going to be there. And when they get hungry enough, they're going to eat something. And if what you have in the refrigerator is bread and peanut butter without jelly, peanut butter and rice and the macaroni and the spaghetti and all the stuff you cooked and potatoes and baked potatoes and mashed potatoes, they're going to eat it. But if what you have is cheap energy, the fast one, we all love to have the fast energy, the juices and the sugars and the cakes and the grapes and the fruits and everything, right or wrong. And that is dangerous for us. So hypoglycemia is like diabetes. It has its own symptoms. But right here we like to talk about something else very dangerous that has been produced inside the body called alcohol. Alcohol is being produced in the diabetic patient. Alcohol itself is a poison, right? It is a poison. You put the alcohol and the germ, it dies. The liver does not like alcohol. When the liver, here's the liver, when the blood circulates and goes through the liver senses there is alcohol. It doesn't matter where the alcohol is coming from. You made it as a diabetic, or you drank it from outside as a social drinker. Let us talk about the social drinker, because that is what we added alcohol for, because I'm anti-alcohol, anti-drug physician. Because to me, alcohol, as bad as cigarettes, as bad as cocaine, as bad as heroin, as bad as morphine, as bad as any drug, and if you legalize one, legalize them all. And if you forbid one, forbid them all. The job of the government to look after the welfare of the society and the next generation to come. Right or wrong? And that is make lots of sense. That is what they should do. Are we doing something? We're talking now about nutrition. They're doing lots of damage to our children morally and psychologically in TVs and that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just nutrition. We have to look. Are we putting things in the market that can harm the pregnant mother, the child in the school, the children that watch TV? We have TV ads to tell the kids that if you're thirsty, do not drink water, drink alcohol. Approved by United States government. Have you ever heard of this ad a few years ago about the guy walking in the desert, very thirsty? Somebody just, older people are smarter than younger ones. Think about the psychology behind an ad. The guy walking in the desert, sweating and tired, and he goes to this place, and somebody brings a glass of water, cold water. He said, no, I don't want this. I want beer, straw beer. Do you remember that? Huh? You remember that ad or not? That ad ran for 2 years until we fought in court to get it out. It took 2 years, and there's argument. There's nothing wrong with that ad. They said, tell the kids to shut the TV when they see it. This stupid thing. The air belongs to God, not to the government. And I always say, if you're going to put nude movies in or sex movies in the air, that does not belong to the government. It belongs to all of us. You have no right to put it in the air. Don't put the burden on us and say, shut your TV. Because we are human built for desire. When we see something bad, we like it. So show me one person going to see sexual movie and going to shut it off. Show me somebody is going to see some movie that there is blood and killing is going to shut it off. There is desires, excitation. When you see killing, adrenaline stimulates, you feel good. But when you see love scenes, you want to go sleep. So that's why they put the stuff on. And then alcohol, it was very, very wrong to legalize it. Was wrong. Was intentional. Alcohol in the beginning was only legalized for the American Indians. So they can get drunk so they don't fight back. And that's called godless man abusing of another man. Way of poisoning him so you take what he got. You're going to leave anyway and leave it behind. Who takes his house with him? Or land with him, or his car with him? Nobody takes anything with him when we die, right or wrong? Only till we take the love and care we left behind, and the good memories. So, alcohol was designed as a drug in the beginning. For medicine, then give it to the enemies to drink, put it in their drink. Then after that, the people themselves started drinking it. Then the government stopped it, didn't make it legal, because the government themselves were making the alcohol. That's how Kennedy got rich. So in any way, alcohol is a poison that it goes inside the body is different from any other poison. It sneaks inside, and when it passes, let's find this guy sitting in the stomach right here. When you drink alcohol, a beer, or a glass of wine, and I ask people, why do you drink a glass of wine in New Year's Eve? Why? Why champagne? Instead of when you're getting married, why alcohol? Why not a glass of juice? Why do you want to look so stupid and drunk in the happiest time of your life? You know, we train to think that way, that this is the way it should be. But actually, it's not. We can remove that training thoughts from our minds. When the alcohol enters here we're going to talk about cancer. When alcohol enters here, it goes in the salivary gland and kills the enzymes and eventually causes cancer of the tongue. And have you ever seen somebody with a cancer of the tongue? Nobody here has seen it, because you don't see them, because they die before you see them. The cancer grows, blocks the airway, and they die suffocating because they can't breathe. And many times we have to work with them, cut the tongue and all of this, and it doesn't work, and they die. This was from smoking with alcohol, the combination of nicotine and alcohol together. When they had the nicotine alone, it didn't do it. When they had the alcohol alone, it didn't do it. When they had the alcohol and the cigar, they did it. So that's called synergism, combination, toxicity. You follow what that means then? One poison, alcohol causes this. Tobacco causes this. This causes 1 degree of harm. This causes 1 degree of harm. But when you combine them, they cause 5 degrees of harm. You follow me? This is the problem we have in our society. We have synergetic effects of the chemicals in the air. We don't realize what do they do to each other in the ozone layer. We put them in the ocean, we don't know what they do to each other in the ocean. In the dumps around our cities. Try to start a program and tell the government, take samples of the dump all the way down to 2,000 feet down. Tell us what's in there. You will see radioactive materials, you see radioactive reaction, you see all kinds of things going underneath our houses, leaking in our water. We don't know. In World War II, big industry in Savannah, Georgia, to make what? They discovered this new material called uranium in University of Chicago. In University of Chicago, when they discover that, they find that stuff, when it touches something, makes your hair stand. So they put it next to a piece of metal and made a spark. So the war was going on, and the United States did not start the war. You know, I mean, we have nothing to do with it, but I'm just telling you how things developed. Maybe God wanted that way for a peaceful purpose in the end, rather than the war continue forever. But that is what happened that time. They used to touch uranium in their hands in the laboratory to do research without gloves, because they don't see any cancers or any problem. And then they invited President Truman to tell him, we find a secret weapon to kill the Japanese and Germans, because Germany was working on to discover the same thing at the same time. And they said, look at this. Here's a ball of uranium, he's holding in his hand, and look at this ring of steel. When I drop it through, it makes a spark. There may be a nuclear reaction right there, make a bomb out of that. He drops it, it gets make a spark. Drops it again, make a spark. Drops it again, make a spark. They didn't know. They just studied. The ball was expanding and got stuck in the ring and blew up. So several scientists died. Truman was thrown a few feet away because he was far away, and they decided, they better take it to Nevada or someplace else so that the people are less valuable, to make nuclear reactions over there and then do it there. This is how we made the nuclear bomb. Because I have a degree in nuclear physics that I had to study these things to become a nuclear cardiologist. I got to go through that. And I was shocked. You know, every time I see what man does to man, I keep going like this. That's what for? You work so hard as a doctor to save a life, and somebody else making a weapon to kill thousands. Then the first bomb, they blew it, and they told the soldiers, we want you to go with the jeeps under this, collect air very fast and bring it to us to analyze it. I think you all know the clouds that went to Utah and were caused the thyroid problem, and on and on and on. Then they took everything to Savannah, Georgia, to make nuclear weapons. The people of the area liked it in the beginning because of money. Then later on, they start seeing turtles glowing in the dark in the area. Radiation. They start seeing more problems. They feel there is something wrong. Because all the nuclear waste was stored in cardboard boxes by DuPont. DuPont was the one making it. Cardboard boxes. And then I think there was a senator. One of the people in the department themselves went on TV. I don't know which one channel was on, 60 Minutes or something like that, and he made this announcement that we're storing uranium over the ground in cardboard boxes. And he was fired next day. Well, he became the chief environmentalist for the area, volunteer to study the effect. They decided to take all this stuff and put it in lead boxes and bury it in the ground and do it right. And they say this area, 20 square miles or something, nobody can go in. It's closed forever. Then they discover another lake 80 miles away, the fish having cancer. They discover this box of leaves, underground water, went to another lake, and it's all harsh secrets like this. When I used to take my nuclear license, to get the license, one of the question asked, what would you do if there is a nuclear accident in your area? What do you say? What do you do? The following. Tell the news, notify the police, or call a specific person in the government. They have to call a specific person. You don't do anything else. Because don't scare the public. That is the problem I see from alcohol. Unless we look at that alcohol as a dangerous drug, that when it goes inside the mouth of people, it's going to cause cancer. When it goes in the esophagus, it puts this guy to sleep. And you have indigestion. When you drink alcohol, you have heartburn and you don't feel good. Kills the enzymes of the stomach. Cancer of the stomach develops. Goes to the pancreas, cancer of the pancreas develops. Goes to the liver, cancer of the liver and cirrhosis develops. Right or wrong? You're familiar with alcohol. I don't have to tell you all of that. It goes to the heart, and the heart gets affected. And the study you hear these days, little alcohol is good for the heart, is nothing but propaganda, because they said taking vitamins causes cancer. You know, somebody in France, the drug company said that taking beta-carotene causes cancer. And we have all the research against it. So in any way, the alcohol keeps going around destroying that person. Why do people drink alcohol? Why do they like alcohol? Because when alcohol reaches the blood, it enters the cell without supervision. It does not need active transport system. It does not need something to put it in, like insulin to put it in. When it goes in, it destroys the nucleus. It puts all the enzymes to sleep. You can say one drink is not going to do all of that. That's true. One drink is not going to do it. But look at this. One drink with the one cigarette, with the smog, with other chemicals, with the stress, add them up, add everything up, and see what will happen. You feel good still? That's fine. But when you develop a cancer of your tongue or your pancreas or your stomach, and you know you're going to die, you wish you never have done that. How can we help alcoholic people then? Alcohol is not the fault of the person who drinks alcohol. Cocaine is not the fault of the person who uses cocaine. I'm a believer that as long as we have a health department available and controlled by federal government, we should be the first one not to allow things to be available, and if they are available, we should put massive advertisement program and education against it on TV and schools. That's fine. You want to get rid of cocaine? Teach everything about cocaine on radio and TV every single day. Who likes to die? People are not going to touch it. You want to do it with alcohol? Put lots of money, but it's not done. As a matter of fact, there is another ad on TV I saw recently that if you thirsty, you don't drink water, you drink sugar. Sugar is better for you than water. And then big companies like Coca-Cola and Pepsi-Cola, when they have this picture, that person, when they're so thirsty, they jump in the swimming pool, come out on the other side, and hold the Coke and Pepsi and drink it. Why didn't you drink it when you were in the pool? You had enough water. No, because Coke is better water. It's tastier water because it has 10 tablespoons of sugar in every glass. That is why. 10 teaspoons of sugar in every glass. That is why we like it. No, it's not because the Coke, but because it's cold. It has carbonated water thing to make it fuzzy in the mouth, and it has sugar also. So that is why we like Coke. Alcohol, to try to get rid of it by telling people don't drink, is not going to work. Why it's not going to work? If you look at the energy cycle, the most difficult source of energy we have is what? The complex carbohydrates, right? That's the least thing we're going to like. When you're hungry, you want to eat starches because it's not going to give you energy for 3 hours. The second source we like that's not as good is what? Sugars and fruit. Because it gives us results in 30 minutes, 40 minutes. But there is another source, even faster than all of that. That's called what? Alcohol. That gets absorbed, it gets absorbed in your mouth. What happened to this guy here? All right, here. When you do, it gets absorbed right here, and before even it reaches the stomach, it's already reached the lung, and everybody knows you've been drinking. That's when God make it so we can tell. You know, you drink one drink, everybody knows you had alcohol. So it goes to the lung first. It goes to the stomach and does the damage. It goes to the liver, does the damage. But alcohol, when it reaches the cell, there is no limitation to it. It goes in and produces what? Massive amounts of what? Energy. You feel it right away. You feel good right away when you drink. You got the energy. You calm. You're not hypoglycemic anymore. You're not nervous anymore. You're not shaking anymore. The shake of hypoglycemia is gone. The headache, you numb. You're already feeling good because you got the energy produced. That energy, how long does it last? It lasts in the cell maybe 1 minute, and it's gone. Alcohol is not a good source of energy. If you take fat and alcohol and a piece of sugar, you take a piece of sugar, forget about fat, piece of bread, piece of sugar and alcohol and burn them. Start fire on each one of them. Piece of bread, like wood is a kind of bread, will burn for a long time, and it gives lots of heat. Because it's a slow burning process. It has to be broken down slowly. And the sugar, it burns faster, and it gives charcoal, it's hotter, but doesn't last as long. Correct or no? The molasses. The alcohol, when you burn it, you even can serve it in a restaurant and food, and it doesn't do anything. You can even put your finger in alcohol and a flame. We used to do that in the lab, and there is no matches. We put the alcohol in your finger, go to your friend, the flame, and put it on your flame, and remove it like this because it didn't even burn the skin. Alcohol is a cheap source of energy, but you feel it. That person with a cheap source of energy, try to tell him stop drinking, he tell you crazy. He will tell you every reason in the world that he is not alcoholic. Every reason that he can stop whenever he wants it. Every reason that he really just does it socially. But he feels good with it. That is the reason. He feels good when he drinks it because he has energy from it, or the stress is less. So, you try to tell a person to stop drinking because you want him to be better. In my practice, 99% of alcoholics stop drinking alcohol without going through detoxification. And 80% of the diabetics did well without insulin. And almost 99% of hypoglycemic no longer hypoglycemic. All through diet and exercise and to train your body how to handle things. So if you're the doctor now and a person, not me, alcoholic, and you want him to slow down to stop alcohol, what would you do? First, question. Would you tell him stop suddenly or gradually? You have to say gradually, because suddenly it's not going to work. Secondly, what would you do to replace his desire to drink? What would you tell him to take with the alcohol, or instead of the alcohol, or before he drinks alcohol? Carbohydrate, that's a good answer. Which kind of carbohydrate? Complex? No. You have to tell him lots of simple carbohydrate. You got to go from this to that, the reverse. Because simple, in half an hour he's having energy. So if you tell that person, okay, what I want you to do, I want you to drink a glass of Coke or a glass of juice. Most of alcohol, they like Coke because they have the opposite caffeine effect. They get drunk, they want Coke so they can wake up. So they always like to drink Coke with it. So give him whatever they want. I don't care. If he wants Coke, we give him Coke. Not cocaine, I mean Coca-Cola. Okay. Or anything with sugar, anything. But we should encourage him that juice is better. Apple juice, not orange juice. Why not orange juice? Too acid, and they have already lots of ulcers in their stomach, right? They already have gastritis and all the problem with bleeding. Believe it or not, one time I saw a patient. I was making around in the VA hospital in Downey, Great Lakes area, and I wasn't cardiology fellow, but when we were making the rounds, we take a little bit longer time today, and we were making the rounds, I'm passing by the surgical unit. We divided medical and surgical, cardiac. I see lots of people around a young man and students and lots of chaos going on. Curiosity, I left my professor, I just looked through, and I found this young man, 20 years old, vomiting blood like a hose coming out. I have tremendous experience at Cook County Hospital and trauma centers, big trauma centers, gunshot wound in the head and the heart, every place. Everything I handled, every kind of wound to the body I handled in the past. So I know how to handle the bleeding like that. But I asked the guy, you guys want to handle it or you want me to help you? They said, you come and help us. because the chief surgeon was my friend, and he said, I don't know what to do anymore. I said, I'll tell you what. Tell the nurse, do you have to intubate him. You have to put something in the lung or something. Then we put the tube in the lung. You put the tube blindly. If the blood comes out in the stomach, if it doesn't come out, it's in the lung. That's what I told them. Just stick the tube in. If the blood comes out, we are in the stomach, that's great. If we are in the lung, that's great. Either one, we win. We put it in, it was in the stomach. And the blood was gushing through the tube. So we put the second tube, went to the lung. And then, of course, that time we inflate, he had lots of blood in the lung, going to the lung, so he's going to die from pneumonia right away, in a couple hours. So immediately, we put the ice in the stomach, with the adrenaline in the stomach, we inflated the stomach balloon to stop the bleeding and all of that, did all of it, the blood stopped coming. But the problem, every time he coughs, the balloon in the stomach ruptures. Then I have to give him karate to stop him from breathing. And he goes on the machine. And in a couple of days, he'd be fine. But the protocol of karate is there too. When a patient in karate, you don't remove the respirator tube unless a surgeon present all the time. The resident of nighttime, Dr. Lind, he comes in, and then he removes the tube because he thinks it has a leaking in it, but he couldn't put it back. So the person died. So I asked him explain what happened to him. He died because Dr. Lind did this one. So I wrote a report. We made an investigation, sent it to Washington, and I didn't hear anything about it. So that is what alcohol can do to people, young people like that. He looks like just got married and all of that. Nobody told him about the alcohol, what to do. Everything you want to blame the patient. As long as we blame the people, always to blame the person, not the society that helps to contribute to that, we're not going to succeed. We have to take responsibility as a government, responsibility as people. Everyone does his share. So right here, to tell the person who's alcoholic, stop drinking, he's not going to do that. But there is a tricky way to do it. Give him 2, 3, 4 glasses 3 times a day of apple juice. Apple juice has lots of what? Lots of sugar. So what you did right here, you induced hyperglycemia, diabetes, right? When you make him diabetes high, and he have enough insulin himself, he's going to have enough sugar inside the cell and outside of the cell. So when he tries to drink alcohol to get more energy, and he's already having enough energy, and energy plus energy adds to heat, he's going to blow up. He's going to get so hot. So when he drinks, he cuts down in the drinking because he doesn't feel good when he drinks. And that has to be done gradually. Like that. Just say, I promise you, if you're serious, drink 2 glasses of apple juice, because it has potassium in it, before each drink. If the person is serious, do it. If he's not going to do it. He finds every reason. I don't like apple juice. I don't like grape juice. I don't like sugar. I don't like Coke. I like my beer. And that is a person that needs to be seen to take drugs. We have to give him Valium. We have to give him tranquilizers. We have to give him something strong to get the desire out of his head. Get him zombie most of the time, so he drinks the juice without knowing it. And that's what the second step we do. So, okay, I want you to take that pill, tranquilizer, 3 times a day. And then next week he said, I don't drink as much. I feel better. I don't have to drink 6 drinks. Then we go to the second stage about, you feel good? I feel better. I said, how about some juice? And then they start after 6 months. And I always tell them, keep your alcohol at home. I want a bottle next to your bed. I want a bottle in the refrigerator. I want it in the kitchen. I want it every place in front of you. I want you to face it, not to run away from it. Because the brain is powerful. If you make up your mind and doing something, believe me, you can do it. Don't underestimate the human brain. If you want to do something badly, you can do it. You can be smoking 40 cigarettes a day, and you can quit just like this if you want. Right or wrong? I've seen it in medicine. I've seen a guy who smoked 30 cigarettes and didn't have cancer of the lung. We tell him, your cancer is from the cigarettes. He stopped this day. How did he do that? Because he's afraid of dying. So alcohol, the treatment for it is to give him, to take him through stages. The first stage, take him through the sugary stage, the simple sugar stage, the fruit stage. Then, frequently, instant protein, performance, physique, if you want to give him good healthy drink, like a tablespoon of protein and maybe some ice cream with it, in a glass of milk or a glass of juice, it doesn't matter because the ice cream has enough sugar anyway. And then some liquid added, chewable Vitalia, the children Vitalia and not the adults, because their stomach is very sensitive. If you give them lots of pills, they're going to get so sore. You know, everything has to be powdery like. And then tell them, here's the thermos, drink that all day. Mix some banana with it or something, and they drink that, and that's one way you can do it. After this stage, then they can go to the starch stage, and then the exercise stage. What is the role of vitamins in all of that? The role of vitamins in every step all the way. From the very beginning, to get the carbohydrate and digest it, you need Formula 1. Zinc is important in hexokinase enzyme, and amylase enzymes come out of the pancreas. To make insulin, you need chromium and zinc and magnesium, that also in the Formula 1 alfalfa. To go to the liver to get detoxification, you need, everybody knows it, vitamin C and beta-carotene and vitamin E. To go to the heart and pump it, you still need good heart with vitamin. To go to the cell itself and all the hormones, then every vitamin is needed. The most important vitamin for diabetic patients and hypoglycemic patients and alcoholic patients is B-complex. That's number one. Number two is vitamin E. And number three is vitamin C. And number four, I would say number four would be Formula 1. The rest of the vitamin, lecithin and EPA and all of that, all come secondary to all of that. And calcium.